star of TOC, and I think now he's planning to become another champion in coming SATAC, TM Hansmert Winter. Please welcome him.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Rafakat. Thank you very much, fellow Toastmasters. Good afternoon, dear guests, fellow T-Oceans, people from Comsafil. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to on the fourth. I think this is now the fourth installment of our Ramadan Bootcamp after navigating the base camp, selecting your topic, organize your speech, and now we go to the fourth one, which is perhaps one of the paths in becoming a better speaker or becoming a successful storyteller. Please allow me to share my screen for today's session. So, is the screen visible to everybody?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you very much. Preparation and practice. Have you ever heard of the saying that says, practice makes perfect? Anyone who has heard of this saying, practice makes perfect?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Toastmaster Mukhtar. And everything that we do, isn't it that one of the key things that one of the key into doing things successfully is we prepare, right? That is why we always have this saying, preparation is key. And so the same is true when we aim to be a better speaker or where we aim to be a successful storyteller or in other aspects. So after navigating the base camp, after selecting your speaker, after preparing your speech, organizing your speech, we now go to the preparation and practice. Just like what I have said a while ago, preparation and practice lead to excellence, and indeed. And so what are the things that we need to prepare? We have selected our topic, we have already organized our speech. So what are the other things that we need to prepare for us to be a better storyteller, for us to be a better speaker? The first thing is that we should be familiar with a lot of things, because when you deliver a speech, you just don't deliver the content of what you're going to say, but rather you should be mindful also of the atmosphere, the overall environment. And so the first thing is that we should be familiar with the lectern and the audience location. What do you mean by the lectern and the audience location? If we are using the lectern, the rostrum, we should be familiar to where it is located. Is it on the right? Is it on the left? Should we decide not to use a lectern, we should also be familiar with the stage. And where is your audience? Will they be on your right? Will they be on your left? Because why is it so essential for us to be familiar with our audience so that we don't create this image of just speaking out of, for example, if you have a paper, we don't have this feeling of just speaking to the paper and direct look. You must take note that when you take on the stage, you are communicating. You are not just reading your speech. You are not just delivering your speech. You are creating a communication between you and your audience, between you and your listeners. So we should also be familiar with the microphone usage. It was last year during the division contest, during the first installment of RECA, when there was a problem with the microphone at Prince Sultan University. And the speakers or the contestants we were asked if we would like to use the microphone because um because somehow your voice somehow changes when you use a microphone. We have these instances that your voice is crisp, your voice is loud, your voice is in full form when you don't use a microphone, but that changes with the technicalities when you use with the technicalities of using a microphone. So you should be familiar with it. And should you opt to use a microphone or should you opt not to use a microphone? Because who knows? You using microphone may or may not impede you in delivering the essence of your in delivering the message of your speech. Next, the room condition. You should be familiar with the room condition. So it is very important, and I have learned this from my mentors when I first started joining competition. DTM Summer Kamal used to tell me to go like 30 minutes ahead of time before the competition starts. Familiarize yourself with the area. So the same is true with DTM test. When I started winning competitions, she always tells me that the first thing that I should do is to go ahead of time to where the competition is, even if it's not a competition, your speaking engagement, familiarize yourself with the room, familiarize yourself with your area. It's like going to the battle and familiarizing your battleground. Why is this so? Why do you think so? It is important for us to familiarize ourselves with the room conditions. Anyone? Can I have Toastmaster Muhammad Babala?
Yes, Ian Hans?
Do you think it is important for us to familiarize ourselves with the room conditions?
I believe this advice I received from our mentors. The last year I was competing with you, and it was advice from DTM Samer and DTM Sicilianos to come earlier and familiarize myself with the room conditions and the letter and everything. Because already where you are competing and you join the competition, you are nervous. You need to feel the atmosphere of the place you are competing in and feel comfortable. If you entered without familiarize yourself with the place and the room condition, you will be more maybe tension, cannot act and deliver your speech when you are freely, if we might say. So it's very good advice and recommendation for anyone who is going to deliver a speech or compete to familiarize himself or herself with the room conditions and the other tools he is using during the competition. That's for me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think I lost you somehow, but thank you very much, Toastmaster Muhammad Babala. Another one is the screen still shared?
No.
No.
No,
Gone.
because I lost my connection a while ago. I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, now okay.
Uh, Okay, so next one is the visual aids. Why is it important? Why is it that we need to familiarize ourselves with the visual aids? When you say visual aids, it's what are the things that you need? For example, you're conducting a lecture, okay? So what are the things that you need to be familiar with? Should you be using the overhead projector or the LED screen? You should be familiar with this. You know the technicalities. If you are delivering a lecture or if you are speaking and you need to have a presentation, so you have to come into the battle fully equipped. Apart from those four, should also be the lectern, the speaking a while ago we spoke about the lectern and the audience location. This speaking area, okay? Where is the stage? Where is the stage? Like, are you speaking in a proscenium? When you say proscenium, ascending, or you are speaking to them on the eye level? It is very, very familiar. It's very, very important that you should be familiar with your speaking area. How long will it take you to deliver your message from, for example, if you are walking from this point to this point, okay? How big is the stage? How small is the stage? You know, you really have to customize your speech, customize your lecture. You are conducting a lecture based on the speaking area, because we don't want you to be this big, this loud, and you only have a small speaking area. That would be exaggerating. Next one is the audience configuration. A while ago, we talked about, is the audience in the left? Is the audience in the right? Are they ascending? Are they eye level? So we really have to know, because you are speaking to an audience because you just don't, not because you just want to speak, not just because you want to deliver a lecture, but you are communicating, you are channeling to them a message. And it is important that you build a connection with your audience. Then the location, the platforms, the steps, the ramp, okay? In Toastmasters, in competition, we are always told that you have this speaking area. Although there are small steps, you don't go beyond that, the speaking area. You don't go down the steps. Just concentrate on the speaking area that is provided to you. Okay. Now, next one is to be familiar with the microphones, the technicalities. Like a while ago, I told you about our experience in during the Red Sox 2023. Now, should you use a microphone when you have less, like should you only have 10 listeners, for example, a regular club meeting? No, we don't want that. We don't want to be overpowered by the sound. But should you have a group of more than 100, a large hall, a large meeting place, of course, it is essential to familiarize yourself with the use of the microphone. And I know DTMSS is familiar with this. In theater, we have this. We were trained to speak without a microphone. We were trained to speak loudly and to always think of the old woman at the back. Old woman at the back. She's seated at the back. Imaginary old woman. I'm not talking about a particular person here. An imaginary old woman seated at the back who has a hard time hearing. And if you are not using a microphone, if you are not using any speaking device, you have to modulate your voice that your speech could be heard. Your speech could be heard by the old woman at the back, by the imaginary old woman at the back. But remember, there is a big difference between modulating your voice and shouting. Big, big difference. You can speak without shouting, without being annoying. We don't want to sound annoying on stage or whenever we conduct we never conduct a lecture, or when we deliver a speech, or when we tell a story. So always be mindful of the old woman at the back. Poor acoustics. What is this for acoustics? The draperies. Sometimes, it affects the speaker, that the speaker wants to modulate his voice. He's now very lively in speaking, but then it seems that he's restrained from speaking because of the poor acoustics. For example, the draperies, the soundproofing in a room. All these things affect you with the way you deliver your speech. Next, the voice strain. A while ago, I was telling you about the old woman at the back. The voice strain. You don't want to be shouting. You can deliver your speech without shouting. You can have your message resonate across the whole without yelling. It's all a matter of how you control your voice modulation. And you don't want that as a speaker to be shouting. Otherwise, if you will have another lecture after that, or if another speaking engagement after that, you would lose your voice. Now, let's go to the third one. Become familiar with the room conditions. A while ago, I asked Toastmaster Babala, and he gave us a perfect explanation of why we should familiarize ourselves with the room conditions. Temperature. You don't want, believe it or not, room temperature affects the way we speak. If the room is so cold, you would feel that your voice is also dampened down. If the room is too hot, you would feel that your voice is also shrill. That is scientifically proven. So as a speaker, even though they say that your speaking engagement starts at 2 o'clock, at least find time to be there 30 minutes before the time, so you would get the feel, the vibe of the room. Should there be adjustments in the room temperature? Should it be should there be a sensible heat, or should there be a sensible coolness in the air? So these are things that we sometimes forget to pay attention with. And also, the room temperature affects your audience. The appropriate lighting. This is also one of those things that we tend to turn a blind eye on. A month ago, during one of the area competitions, and I'm sorry, I'll just be honest, during one of the area contests, I told this even to the area director, that there seemed to be, I was even joking to her that, did you not pay the lights, did you not pay your electricity? Because the area is really dark. The area is really dark. And you are not giving justice to the speakers, to the contestants, with a poor lighting. So as a good speaker, you have to coordinate with these. You have to coordinate these problems with the people around. Even during the peak of Corona. During the peak of Corona, when I was competing for the division contest in the international contest, my mentors and one of my good friends then told me to put lightings in front of my camera, so I would so that the registration on the screen would be good. So if that is that important in an online meeting, how much more is it in physical meeting? Also, become familiar with the discrete entry for latecomers. It's very important that you should know where the entrance and the exit are, not for you, but for those who might disturb you. The external noise. When I say external noise, it's not about just the noise that you hear, but the distraction. So you should be familiar with this, so you will not get distracted. Or even though that, oh, this will be the entrance, this will be the exit, people will be coming this way, you are already, your mind is programmed that even see them coming in, you will not get distracted. And I was talking about the competitive noise outside. We have ways on how to mitigate the noise. We don't flow. You don't flow along with the noise. You have to battle it out, because if you try to flow along with the noise, then your audience will get bored. Your audience will not get what you want to the message that you want to get across. So you have to have a proper coordination with the people who organize with the people who organize the speech, who organize the lecture, or with the organizers of the speech contest, or whatsoever. That is why it is very important that if you're going to have these things, it's very important that you should always go back to the first one, voice modulation. So become familiar with the visual aids. A while ago, we talked about this, the screens that we need to use, where locate it in where people can see your visual aids, or it could be seen by everybody. If you are using a projector, if you are using an LCD, an LED nowadays, no more LCD, LED, make sure that it's not only visible to you as a lecturer or as a speaker, it's visible to everybody. Remember that you are not telling a story, or you're not using visual aids for yourself. You are using visual aids for your audience. Appropriately sized viewing screen. You don't expect that you are in a very large hall and you will just have a 32-inch television. No, that won't do. So you need to make some adjustments. Handout distribution. Should you have problems, or should you have difficulties in providing a huge LED screen, for an example, that could be visible to 100 participants, why don't you try handout distribution? Although nowadays this is not practiced often, but it helps. It would really help. Now, rehearsing the speech. These are the words of one of my mentors, DTM Summer. Practice ideas, not words. Why? Why do we often see people or speakers losing their concentration, or all of a sudden went blank on stage? Because they memorize their speeches word by word. So being the prepare mental graph of the speech and finish each rehearsal session. It is not enough that you start your rehearsal. You have to conduct it the way you want to conduct it in a lecture. You have to rehearse it the way you visualize yourself in the competition. So you have to have a mental image, a mental draft of everything that you will be doing if you are conducting a lecture, if you are joining a competition, and how you are going to present it to your audience. Now, how do we improve our speech? We add improvements gradually. What do you mean by gradually? You don't add them a la tool like this. You do it little by little. Like while you are rehearsing, you may say that, oh, I need to tweak this part. Oh, I need to add some of these parts. You do that. Not because you wanted your speech to be lengthy, no, but because you want to see that not because but because while you are rehearsing, you would know that there are things that these ideas should be crossed out, these ideas should be added. Arrange for feedback. This is very important. For me, whenever I join a competition, okay, I always ask for feedback. I have here at TOC, we are very, very lucky and fortunate that we always have this team of people who are very willing to give you feedback. Even though we are competing against each other, we still have the time to critique each other's speech. Next, what are the extra considerations? Provide an introduction. Prepare yourself physically. That's very important. Have a mental rehearsal. Have a mental draft of what you're going to do. Have a mental image. Create a mental image of how you will be performing your lecture, your speech, your story on stage. And in conclusion, good luck. Good luck happens when preparedness meets an opportunity. I actually wanted to show you the video of my TOC 2023, but I think I'm already over time. This is just to show you how these work of practice, rehearsal, preparation paved way for me for this victorious Performance Club at the TOC 2023. But I think we could reserve that for another day. And with that, I hope you had a great time. And this has been Toastmaster Hans Winter talking to you about preparation and practice for the Better Speaker Series. Thank you very much, and back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.